Hey guys, welcome to my Oracle Dispriest guide for the Rookery. I will be walking through how I heal all of the bosses and some of the difficult trash in this dungeon. If you haven't watched my general Oracle Dispriest M+ guide yet, I highly suggest you check it out before watching this video. Otherwise, let's get into it. So for the first pull, we have Lust, and we're kind of just maximizing our damage. There's not going to be too much healing except for the Void Rider, but with Lust, it should be very easy to heal through it. So I'm just doing my typical Mind Blast ramp, pre-shielding for the AoE, and then when it comes out, I send my ramp. As you can see, I was able to heal that without a premonition. You can send one if you want. You can premonition of Insight and then spam the penances onto the enemy target, but as you can see there with Lust, I didn't need it at all. I still have my Insight ready for the next pull. The next Void Rider is going to be a little rough because we don't have Lust or cooldowns. I use AMZ first and then Barrier on the second, but even if you don't have AMZ, you can just send Evangelism for the first one and Barrier for second, and it should still be enough. I send my Mind Blast, Premonition, Radiance, Penance, Evangelism, Penance again, Powered Shield, and then Smite on the downtime. I see that I have the Energized Barrage, and basically I just Power Word Shield whoever gets the Barrage. As you can see here, I'm just penancing on cooldown and trying to farm up big Power Word Shields. I have one on the Boomy right now. He's taking the Overlap, Barrier, and then send my ramp once again. I sent it slightly late this time, but it's okay because this damage isn't too deadly. And for the next Void Rider, we don't have our AMZ or Barrier backup, so I call for a Darkness. However, you can't really rely on Darkness because sometimes it just doesn't work. Once again, send my pet with my ramp for this AoE, and we are Giga safe. And doing my best to Power Word Shield whoever gets the Energized Barrage. As long as you do that, they should be able to live it. I only sent one Premonition this time. That Energized Barrage was a little spooky because I didn't have my Power Shield. I spent it on the tank, but my Boomy bark skinned and we were fine. And I just sent my Mind Blast ramp again. This time I don't have a pet, so I Defensive Penance the Shaman because he was taking double damage. And then I shielded the tank again, so the Boomy almost died. But as you can see here, when I Power Word Shield whoever gets the Energized Barrage, they are totally safe. And you can notice a huge difference when you don't have Power Word Shield up. So do your best to try and save your Power Word Shield for the barrages. And since I didn't have Power Word Shield there, I used Defensive Penance. Defensive Penanced into Power Word Shield on myself. I had another Power Word Shield for the Shaman. As you can see, every time I have Defensive Penance or Power Word Shield for the Energized Barrage target, they are very, very safe. So nothing really much to do on this boss. You just want to pre-shield whoever you can before the AoE comes out. Obviously, DK is probably the worst target for me to shield there, but I just wasn't paying attention. Definitely you want to shield squishy targets first, and in the grand scheme of things, Dispriest is not really the squishiest target compared to the Boomy and the Shaman, because if you're playing correctly, you always have 20% DR. So whenever there is damage that will be going out, make sure you have your Flash Shield DR and your Fade DR. But as long as people aren't getting one-shot, it doesn't matter too much here. For this beam here, I just like to send my Mind Blast before it goes out, and then when it starts spinning, I just rotate between my Penance, Power Word Shield, and Shadow Word Death. If I have instant proc Flash Shields, I will use those as well, but it's pretty chill as Oracle to move and cast. Sometimes you can stand still to cast a little if needed. The circle doesn't pop right away, so you have plenty of time to move. But yeah, outside of that, it's mostly just maximizing your DPS. Alright, so to save time when we jump down, I just start drinking while the tank is gathering. This is a pretty dangerous pull for the tank, so I just send a paint sip on him on gathering. I'm looking at the CD timings, and my first premonition, I already have a clairvoyance ready, and I just send my typical ramp. I look to shield anyone who gets the Arcing Void because it does a lot of damage and you can die if you get the overlap with the dot. Okay, this right here is a perfect example of a premonition of Insight ramp with triple penance. The reason why I use it here is because it's a lot of rot damage to the entire group, and I want burst healing immediately. However, notice how I send 2 defensive penances to the Boomy and then 1 to myself, rather than all to the enemy this time, because we're taking uneven damage. There are situations where you do want to send all 3 at the enemy, such as on those Void Rider pulls from upstairs, but in this case, defensive penancing was better to concentrate more healing on lower HP targets. So I sent a defensive penance on the tank there because I see that he is dying. This is kind of a reset pull because we're doing a big pull again after. So I'm trying not to spend too much here. I spend 1 premonition and I just throw out power word shields. So basically I just Mind Blast Radiance Penance every time there's damage going out, especially on this type of damage where it's kind of consistent but not bursty rot damage. Another pet Mind Blast Radiance Shield Penance ramp. And of course, if there are any Arcing Voids going out at the same time, make sure you power word shield those targets. Otherwise, you can just power word shield whoever is lowest at the moment. So we just skip that pack over there. As long as you run past and your DH pulls it and then melds later, you should be fine. I was in combat here, so I just melded and then I have to heal my tank back up and we go in. This is the most scary trash pull in the dungeon, so I make sure I save all of my big CDs for this. Make sure I refresh my dot first. Get my flash heal DR up. Mind Blast, Fade, and then shield the shaman with the Arcing Void. I say I have Arcing Void on myself and I pop my Desperate Prayer. And then I use my Evangelism to catch up here, make sure people are topped. And then I'm just sending my Mind Blast ramp once again. Try to look for Arcing Void targets to power word shield. Another shield on the Boomy with the Arcing Void. As you can see, he still took a ton of damage there. I'm setting my Mind Blast ramp once again. I have a Clairvoyance Premonition if I need to use it, but it looks like the pack is pretty much dead. So on this boss, you just want to make sure you power word shield whoever has the dot when the Crush Reality is going out at the same time. So you see there, I shielded the shaman because he had the dot and Crush Reality was about to go off. And then here, you just make sure you send a small ramp so that you can keep people topped for the suck. I just precast my Power Word Radiance there just to top people up pretty fast after the Crush Reality. So our DK gets the dot right here for the overlap, and I Power Word Shield him, but he basically doesn't even need me. Just DK things. I set my Evangelism on that suck just to top people up really fast. DK has a shield there for the overlap with the dot, and he also IBF, so he's very safe. This is a good place to defensive penance because it's pretty much just one person taking damage the entire time. It's okay to defensive penance more as Oracle because your second bolt will always land on the enemy, so if you need to focus heal more, you can just send your defensive penance. And since this boss does uneven damage, it does way more damage to someone with a dot, I just send my defensive penances on them. And of course I Power Word Shield them right before the Crush Reality lands. As you can see, the Druid has debuff there, so I make sure he's shielded. So for this Heal Absorb dot, I just precast Radiance and make sure I have my ramp going and it heals up pretty quickly. I sent my Radiance too early that time and I wasn't able to heal off the dot as quickly, so I had to Desperate Prayer and Dispel the Boomy. If you have a Parasol, this is how the skip is supposed to work. You're supposed to pop your Parasol, and you're supposed to slow fall and control which way you go all the way down to this corner. But since we all failed the skip, we were not able to do that. If 2 people can't make it, you have 2 grips available 6 seconds apart, so you can help grip them up. So since we failed the skip, we had to pull this trash, and it's not a big deal, it just wastes more time. We don't need the count, so it's just extra. Just make sure you watch your tank here. It's a lot of tank damage. And I'm looking for the Voidstone's HP because it phases at 40. So I need to make sure I have my ramp up for that. It's about to phase, so I'm putting out my Flash Shield DR. And then as soon as it phases, I pop my Premonition and Evangelism to catch up there. And then I sent my Mind Blast and Penance. I just sent my pet as well. Everything was slightly later because I was moving and I started my ramp too late. So the only way I could recover was by using instant cast spells such as my Premonition, instant cast Radiance, and Evangelism. So if you get into this kind of situation yourself as Oracle, it's not the end of the world. As Void Weaver, you basically have to time your ramps or you will fall behind. But as Oracle, if you fall behind, these are ways you can catch up. As you can see there, I did a perfect ramp as that feast was coming out and I healed people up immediately. So that's what you want to do. Precast your Mind Blast and then Radiance right as the feast is casting. So here comes another feast. I Mind Blast, Radiance, Penance, and the feast is gone already. That is the ideal, and I did not do that correctly earlier, but I want to show my mistakes so that you guys know what not to do. And I'm just shielding myself because I see that I'm getting casted on a ton. I dispelled the Boomy there because he was getting really low, and I also gave him a shield because we were also getting ulted at the same time as the feast, and in order to save everyone, I had to pretty much spot heal there. And once again, I just sent my pet plus my penance. I didn't send my Radiance after the feast went out, but because I had my pet up, my penance did way more. So this is where I try to be efficient with my drinks. I drink a little while the tank is gathering. There's no damage going out right now, so I have plenty of time to get my full mana up. Here's another feast. I just sent my Mind Blast, try to time my Radiance right as that feast goes out, and then penance. Same pattern here. If you do fall behind, you can mass the spell. I see the feast is about to start casting again once these orbs come out, and I am watching the timer. Here comes the feast. Recast Radiance and Penance. I didn't even Mind Blast this time, but because I had Shadow Word Death during the execute, I was fine. And then the Voidstone phases early while I'm still healing at the feast, and I fell behind. So I decided to cast my Evangelism and my Premonition to catch back up. I sent a defensive penance there to top one person really quick, and then health potted myself. Health pot is a CD you can use, don't forget that. And there we caught back up. I need to give my tank a quick atonement there, so I just sent to renew on him. That's pretty much the only time you renew, by the way, just to send quick atonements out. You normally don't really use it. Here I'm kind of just pre-shielding people, getting ready for the phasing, and I have to run a couple shields on the tank, so I wasn't able to pre-shield that many people. I use my Clairvoyance Premonition here, which is really strong. I use my pet, and then Mind Blast, Penance, and people are topped again. Here's another Penance. People are topped once again. I have another Premonition if I really need to use it, but I was looking at the cast and the Voidstone was almost dead. And then, since we still had the Crushers alive, but we had to go on boss immediately because of timer, I just used my Meld just to drink. So, as you can see there, I got my Meld drink off as they started pulling the boss, so they didn't have to waste any time. And here you basically just DPS. Make sure you have atonements up on everyone at all times so that even when you're out of range of them, you can still heal them. You can see I had atonements up on both people who had the magic debuff, and I was able to heal them even out of range. Outside of that, Oracle doesn't really contribute that much DPS to this boss. You can just send your full ramp with your Mind Blast, Penance, Shadow Word Death, and spam smites to try and get big damage out, but you're just gonna have to mostly rely on your DPS on the damage jump phases. You do want to send your Shadow Word Death on the shields as much as you can as well. This boss is pretty much the exact same thing the entire time. Just make sure you have your atonements up before you get out of range of everyone. Okay, so here I was trying to just drop my Dispel debuff at the same time as that pillar going off. So we actually didn't clear this pillar on the last one, which is good technically for this guide because now I can show you guys what it's like to not have that pillar cleared. So basically this ad that comes out does AoE pulsing damage. My first thing to do was make sure I had atonements up on everyone, and I basically just use my ultimate penitence to catch up, and I'm sending my ramp immediately after. And thank goodness we killed the boss because we probably would have died to the next tick. And that's it. If you guys want to watch more gameplay, I stream all my keys live on Twitch. It's Katza. Otherwise, if you want to see more timed key VODs and other guides, Don't forget to like and subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I will see you guys in my next video.